Welcome to EN 297, the Major Authors Course focused on Toni Morrison. I am Professor Lisa Wiley Maslow. I'm shooting this video just so you can put a face to a name because we're not meeting in the classroom. This is like having a first mini lecture that you can attend at any time that you want to during this first week. You should know where my home campus is North Campus. I come from Kittinger Hall. My office is located up on the second floor. The English office suite is 209 is the main department office. 207 is where our office suite is, and I'm in 207G. So if you need to find me during the 5 hours of office hours, that's where you can find me. My office hours are listed on the syllabus. I would definitely take the time this first week to become well acquainted with Brightspace for this course. Different instructors utilize different tabs differently. First stop should be my syllabus. In fact, you might want to print it out and follow along during this brief announcement here. On the My Syllabus, well, before we get there's also the My Instructor tab. You should check out this first week to see my vantage point, where I'm coming from, and then getting started as well. Those three tabs you should take a look at during this first week. And again, I'm mainly here to welcome you to the work of Toni Morrison. We have a great liberty as instructors that when we teach this course, this higher level course, mainly for English majors, but for anybody who's interested in grabbing these 3 humanities credits, we have free reign to pick an author that resonates with us. I taught this very same course with Mary Carr, memoirist Mary Carr, last spring, and it was a very successful journey for students writing some of their own memoir and reading Mary Carr. I shifted gears, and high on my list, the highest on my list is Toni Morrison. In fact, I wrote a poem to her that's recorded that you can just click on and listen to that poem about more of my reasons of why I selected Toni Morrison. I mean, she blew the American literary canon out of the water. She changed it forever when she began with The Bluest Eye in 1970, and then just kept on going all the way up to Beloved, which won the Pulitzer Prize. And in fact, we're going to be looking at during the first week her Nobel Prize acceptance speech in Sweden, and that'll be part of one of your first discussion boards. Another first discussion board this week is just, why are you taking this class? Why did you elect to take it? I really think there's a beauty in taking it online. We're not controlled by the 4 walls of a classroom and parking and getting here on time. We're not synchronous. You never have to log on with a camera at a given time. If you want to do all your work at 2 in the morning because that fits in best to your work schedule and your family schedule, go for it. Go, look at it then. Again, you're not bound to a synchronous time, which I think is a beauty of this course, really. I can go ahead and tell you about my 5 hours of office hours. I'm located up in K209G. 207G rather, on Tuesdays and Thursdays from 8:30 to 9:30. Also on Thursdays from 12:15 to 1:15, and Wednesdays I come in from 11 to 1 p.m. If you're predominantly an online student and would prefer to meet in an online office hour, I list my WebEx room right there on the syllabus. Please feel free during any of those 5 hours to meet with me. I do request that you send me an email first at Maslow, MOSLOW, at ecc.edu, so I know to click on my camera and go there. I don't just sit around with the camera going unless I know for a fact that a student has scheduled an appointment. So then you will be coming from my campus office. You're not going to see this lime green. This is my home office. If those 5 hours don't work out well for you because you're working or you're in another seated class, I would be happy to schedule a time outside those 5 hours to accommodate your schedule and discuss whatever project or questions that you might have. Sometimes a simple email will solidify what you need to know in order to move forward with a project or a draft or a discussion board. And I say on my syllabus, generally during the work week, within 24 hours, I will get back to you. I try to constrain that to 9 to 5, Monday through Friday. Over the weekend, it could take 48 hours to get back to you. You might not hear until the next business day. So bear that in mind as you think about your wait time accordingly. I do have 3 young adult children myself. So what you're going to find is my youngest is a senior at St. John Fisher. So I see from the parental end what it means to have a college student. And I can see when she's waiting on a response that she might have a project that she needs an answer about in order to move forward. Well, the same thing. I want to give you that courtesy, get back to you so you can just keep on trucking on that assignment. So I have a feeling of what makes a college student click at this point in time. But please do also check out the My Instructor tab so you can see, where my vantage point. I'm predominantly a poet, hence I wrote a poem to Toni Morrison. But on the flip side, I also write some short fiction. I had the great honor of being a finalist for the London Story Prize last spring, and I flew over to London to read my flash fiction at a reading by the Thames. It was just a dream come true to be over in London. Some great friends met me. We went out and celebrated it, and it was just so fun to ride a double-decker and all of that. It was really the writing that drove that whole trip forward. I hope one day some of you are reaching out to me years from now, telling me about your great achievements, and perhaps I'll incorporate your writing into a future course. I would love nothing more than that. So that's part of my vantage point. I'm going to review the 3 major textbooks. Not textbooks, but novels. I would encourage you reach out and get them, all 3 of them, get them immediately so you don't fall behind when we get to that point in the syllabus. So first you're going to be reading The Bluest Eye. Any edition will do. Certainly you can check them out from the ECC library. You can check them out from a local library. I think you should have your own copy and mark things up and highlight them. That's why where is my note here on the syllabus? I'm following my own syllabus. It's called thriftbooks.com. Is a great place to get used books, but I would order them right away this very first week. So The Bluest Eye, it's on your syllabus. The second one we'll be doing is Song of Solomon. Get that. You can get that from Thrift Books. You can get new editions from Amazon. You can go to Barnes & Noble. I once had a student last semester. She read everything off of a Kindle because she liked to read electronically. And then finally, Beloved, which was made into a beautiful movie. This won the Pulitzer Prize for Fiction. Oprah, as you're going to see, contacted Toni Morrison after she read this. She got her number from a fire department, called her up and said, I want to make this into a movie. And Oprah starred in it as Setha, the main protagonist. Absolutely amazing. And by the way, if you want to watch that, it's not required. If you want to watch it, you'll have to find it on a streaming service. I scoured our film databases, and it's just not there at the moment. I wanted to grant you free access to Beloved. Some people I know are visual learners, and they like to watch along with read. I mean, with Oprah producing this and starring in it, I don't know how you get any better than that. But it's fierce. It's a very, very fierce film. You got to read it first, but as a treat to yourself, if you want to watch it, it'll be available on a streaming service. I just watched it again this summer. I watched it when it first came out, of course, as well. So those are your 3 main ones. Other readings and essays I will put up as a link from databases, or I will put them up as a PDF for you to read. But those are the 3 that you're committing to. Paperback, obviously, is absolutely just fine. The first 2 weeks, we will work off of the screen as more of an orientation to the course. But by week 3 is when we start The Bluest Eye, and you really want to be able to hit the ground running and not fall behind on those discussion boards. As you follow along on the syllabus here, to give you the main layout of the land, week 1 is an orientation. Week 2 is watching the documentary An Introduction to Morrison. It's called Toni Morrison, The Pieces I Am. And I give you the year that came out. I believe it's available on HBO Max. Again, it hops around on different streaming services. And whether you can tap in and get a free trial in order to watch it, or someone in your family has a password that you can use, I just wasn't able to. I worked with our librarians, and it's just not available in a database right now. But it's so important. You hear that majestic voice of Toni Morrison. The world lost her in 2019, but just to hear that up front at the beginning of the semester, so you can have that voice at the back of your mind as you do all the readings. So bear that in mind. You'll have to tap into that somehow. And then we get to The Bluest Eye. Then we get to Song of Solomon. There'll be a midterm project due. Then we'll turn to Beloved. Then there'll be a research project. And the very end, we culminate with an oral presentation where you present the results. It's only about 10 minutes long, where you present the results of your research and your midterm project. You just shoot it as a video, you post that link to a discussion board, and you watch and comment on a few of your classmates. By the way, I recognize some familiar names on the class roster. Students have just knocked it out of the park in other classes with me. So a shout out to Cece. I see you on there. I see Derek on there. And the rest of you, I'm just so excited to get to meet all of you via these discussion boards. So those are the main highlights and lowlights of the course. You are going to see that there's a no AI policy, that your major work goes to a Dropbox. I know that AI is an ever-evolving situation in all your academic areas, but I know right now when we go to send out work to be published, there usually is an AI clause that we check as a writer that says, this is human-made. I did not write this with any assistance from AI, and then flush it out later. So that's what I'm going with right now with you. I just want this to be all you. I don't want you to, have used AI first and then try to finesse it. I want it just to be all of you, because that's why you're here. You're here to sharpen your own critical thinking skills, your own research skills, your own writing skills, to develop a thesis, to find great research that backs it up, and to ask great questions to our classmates, to one another, and of Toni Morrison. And I think that's not going to happen with relying too much on AI as a crutch. As the situation evolves, I really think AI is in its adolescence right now, and we all know about adolescents. They're grouchy, they're full of angst. I think 10 years from now, we're going to be in a different place with AI. But for right now, I'm trying to keep it at bay and ask that you don't do your work in here with the assistance of AI. So that is my policy at this point in time. So if you have any questions for me, feel free to shoot an email to maslow@ecc.edu. Drop by my seated office hours, or schedule an appointment to drop on by these virtual ones. I'm just so excited to hit the ground running and studying Toni Morrison this semester. Okay, bye for now.